With energy costs being at an all-time high, balcony power plants became a popular way of tackling high energy bills. However, there's one big caveat. If your balcony power plant generates energy when your household barely is consuming energy, that power goes to waste in the grid. Thankfully, there are easy ways now to store excess energy from your balcony power plant, and I'm going to show you how. What up guys, my name is Zendure and welcome to another episode. As a content creator, I have quite the energy consumption, and I know the bad feeling you get when your energy provider sends you that annual bill that gets more expensive year over year. That's one of the reasons why I installed the balcony power plant in the first place. However, when I'm not at home, all the free energy I'm generating just goes to waste because it's fed into the grid and I don't get any compensation for it. So that's why I partnered with Zendure and Shelly to test out Zendure SolarFlow System that buffers all the excess energy from my balcony solar system. So thank you Zendure and Shelly for making this video possible. I know the whole balcony solar topic can be quite intimidating, so I will guide you through the whole process of the installation so you can see how easy it actually is and that you don't need to be afraid of it. With that said, let me show you what comes with the Zendure SolarFlow system. Let us begin with the Smart PV Hub 1200. The first thing you'll find is a box of accessories, but we'll talk about them in a minute. The Zendure Smart PV Hub is quite a heavy piece of equipment and you can feel its build quality. It comes with two PV inputs and it has one output for the microinverter. If you flip it over, you will find a port for the battery on the bottom and also the port for the Wi-Fi antenna. And talking about the Wi-Fi antenna, let's check out the accessories. You get a 1.5 meter long cable to connect the Smart Hub with the add-on batteries, a set of MC4Y connectors, and two 60 centimeter long MC4 cables, and two additional 60 centimeter MC4 cables. So you have two sets of these short cables in total. And you even get two sets of 3 meter long solar cables with MC4 connectors. And underneath all these cables there is one little Wi-Fi antenna hiding, so make sure that you don't miss it, because you will definitely need it. And of course you also get a set of screws in order to mount the Smart PV Hub, and a good old trusty user manual in different languages. By the way, I would highly recommend you to mount the Wi-Fi antenna straight onto the Smart PV Hub so there's no chance you're losing it. And now let's talk about the most important part of the Zendure SolarFlow system, the battery. Not only is the AB1000 a heavy piece of equipment, it is also built like a tank. And I highly appreciate that Zendure put massive handles on the side of it, so this way you can safely maneuver the AB1000 battery around and you don't have to be afraid of dropping it. The AB1000 has a capacity of 960 watt hours and you can stack up to 4 of these puppies in order to extend the overall capacity. And since we are already talking about numbers, the Smart PV Hub from Zendure is able to output up to 1200 watts of power to a microinverter if it supports it. And since all this power has to come from somewhere, the Smart Hub is equipped with two PV inputs and each one of them is able to handle up to 550 watts of power. And now I'm going to show you how we are utilizing two of these Knugglik IKEA boxes in order to give our balcony power plant a stylish new looking home. Since the whole SolarFlow system is rather heavy, we have to make sure that the two boxes are screwed together securely so that there is no chance for them to tip over or fall apart. To achieve this, we're going to connect the whole middle section of the two boxes with the help of 9 screws. To make the whole mounting process as easy as possible, leave the two boxes on the floor. Now take the SolarFlow Smart Hub and align the top edge of the box with the top edge of the Smart Hub. Make sure it's in the center of the Knugglik box and secure it with 4 screws. Now place the box upright in front of you so that the opening of the lower box is facing towards you. The Knugglik box has the perfect size to accommodate one AB1000 battery, and due to its weight, it helps us to secure the whole construction because this way it is not able to tip over. Now it's time to mount our microinverter onto our construction. Depending on the brand of the microinverter, you will have different kind of mounting holes, and I would highly recommend you to use the holes that make it easy for you to remove the microinverter if you have to, so you get access to the additional battery. Now go ahead and connect the SolarFlow Smart Hub with the AB1000 battery. Make sure that both sides of the cable securely latch onto the connector on the Smart Hub and also on the battery. At this point, you should already end up with a rig that looks something like this. I would recommend you to complete the basic wiring while the rig is still outside and not at its final destination, so you have an easier way of hiding all the wires. Let's start with the microinverter side. Since the Zendure Smart Hub will feed into your microinverter, depending on whether it has one input or two inputs, you will need these Y modules. So if your microinverter has two inputs, you will need these Y converters in order to feed power into both of the microinverter's inputs. Now go ahead and connect the two 60cm long MC4 cables with the Y modules. From the pair of cables you just connected, take one from the plus and one from the minus and connect it to the input one on your microinverter. While doing so, also make sure that you only connect plus with plus and minus with minus. And now connect the remaining pair with the second input on your microinverter. Now make sure to tuck away the leftover cables inside the box so you will end up with a clean result like this here. Now you can finally move your rig to its final position and connect your solar panels to PV input 1 and 2. As you can see, the assembly of the Zendure SolarFlow system is super easy and way less complicated than I would have imagined. However, we are not quite done yet because we still need to configure the system. But first we have to add it to our account, so select Add Device and select SolarFlow. If your Smart Hub isn't turned on yet, push the green button on it in order to turn it on. Now press and hold the green button until you hear 2 beeps. Select Next Step and your SolarFlow Smart Hub will show up here in a few seconds. Select Add via Wi-Fi and hit Next Step. Now it's time to enter your Wi-Fi credentials. If you entered your credentials and you are sure you entered them correctly but somehow this step still fails, it might have to do with the characters in your SSID. I hope this will be fixed in future firmware updates. And if everything works as expected, you will get a pairing successful in a few seconds. The first time you select your SolarFlow system in the Zendure app, you'll be prompted with an initial setup. You can either select one of their supported PV inverter vendors or you just hit Other. By doing so, you can manually adjust the maximum acceptable input power of your PV inverter. And before you change these values, please make sure that you oblige local regulations so you don't break any laws. The SolarFlow Smart Hub will now match the maximum input of the microinverter, but if you want, you can also specify a lower maximum output. Within the Zendure app, you can choose between 4 different energy plans. These energy plans decide when and how much energy will be fed from your battery into the microinverter and then into the grid. From the 4 modes, I think Smart Matching and CT mode are the ones that most people probably will look into. However, for these 2 modes, you'll be needing additional accessories. For Smart Matching mode, you'll need Zendure Smart Plugs. These plugs will be placed between the device and the outlets you want to compensate for. Within the app, select Energy and then select Energy Plan. Here you can see the real-time consumption measured by the power plug, and you can also select which power plugs will be monitored and matched. In this mode, the measured consumption will be compensated by your solar panels, and if they don't generate enough energy, the delta will be drawn from the battery. And if there's no more consumption measured at the smart plug, the energy generated by your solar panels will be straight fed into the battery, so no energy will be wasted to the grid. And now you might think, well, I don't want to buy a smart plug for every single device in my home. Isn't there a better solution for this? And this is where Smart CT mode comes into play. You'll need a Shelly PRO 3EM for this to work. So Zendure partnered up with Shelly, and for those who are not familiar with Shelly, they are a company that manufactures a wide variety of smart switches, triggers, etc. And they have a smart meter that is installed right inside your fuse box and measures all 3 phases in it. This way you get an overview of the energy consumption of your entire household, and you know whether it's worth to actually draw power from your SolarFlow system, or you'd rather use the energy generated by your solar panels to charge the battery on your Zendure Smart Hub. By the way, installing the Shelly PRO 3EM isn't that difficult, and I will show you in an upcoming tutorial how to do it, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. For this to work, you first need to give Zendure access to your Shelly account. In order to link additional services, go into your Zendure account settings. Enter your Shelly account settings and select the Shelly PRO 3EM you installed previously. After this is complete, you can see that the Shelly PRO 3EM has been added to the list of authorized devices. To continue, select Link My SolarFlow on the bottom. Select the SolarFlow system you want to link it to. Scroll down to Smart CT mode and select it. Now enter the Smart CT circuit. Here you can choose to either monitor one individual phase or you can choose power linkage mode. In power linkage mode, all three phases are linked together, therefore your SolarFlow system will always know whether it's smarter to charge its battery or put out energy to the grid in order to compensate for your energy needs. And one more tip, if you want to turn off the whole SolarFlow system, push the IoT button till you in total hear 5 beeps and then it will turn itself off. I think SolarFlow is a great sturdy system that brings a lot of potential if you are able to saturate the battery with enough excess power from your solar panels. If your household has a low energy consumption and lots of space for solar panels, SolarFlow most certainly will help you to even further lower your energy costs, especially in constellations where you are not home all day and you only consume energy during dark hours. Because in that case, the energy you normally generate during the day would go to waste because it would not be consumed. So with that in mind, what do you think about Zendure's way of backing up your balcony power plant with a battery? Let me know in the comments. Well, this was a fun project. I hope you liked it because I certainly did. So thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.